Hey, gang. Hopefully TJ will be able to join me here in a little bit um, to finally talk about these last six episodes or segments, rather, of Creepshow season three. And I will say that this was kind of like a mix and match group. Some of them I liked a little better than the others. Um, but Hey, Blissful. Hey, Batman. Um, I know Batman. You said hi to TJ too. I hope he's able to join. I sent him the link about an hour or so ago, or a little over an hour. Um, it may have been that he forgot, since we've held off on this so long. But um, I'll do some uh, blabbing about the channel and what we got upcoming to see if TJ shows, and if he doesn't, I may just go ahead and cover these episodes myself. It'll probably be faster, won't be as detailed, and I like to cover these episodes with TJ, but. And there TJ is. See, I talk about him when he shows up. So I'm going to be adding him here real shortly. But I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow night, of course, will be a triple threat review show because I'm lazy and can't come up with any topics to cover. So I admit it, I'm lazy sometimes. But I'm going to talk about Blood Hook, and I'm going to talk about Blood Rage. I told you, a lot of blood in the title. And Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Feast. So Friday will be a Terror Time tea. Plus, we will be debuting a new segment for Fridays. And that's going to be Friday Foolish with Dana and Candace. Me and Candace are going to be on here talking about books, music, movies, television shows, whatever strikes our fancy that day. So I hope y'all will all show up for all of that. We got a couple of watch alongs, one for Blood Diner on Saturday and Multiplicity on Sunday. Haven't decided what my movie munchies is going to be, but it will more than likely be taken from the Death for Dinner book that Candace sent to me. Blissful, you say you're looking forward to that. Well, I hope everybody's looking forward to all the new things upcoming. And now, without further ado, I'll add TJ here. Hey, TJ.
Hi, gang. How's it going?
I almost forgot what TJ looked like because it's been so long since we.
Rewatch the old videos and give it some more views and see what I look like.
There you go. Yep. Well, I'm gonna have to let one of my dogs back here because it's. Oh, she's banging at the gate. I'll be right
Of
back.
course you do. Hello, YouTubers.
It never fails. When you got five dogs in the house, one is going to inevitably
Oh, yeah.
want something from you, whether it's food or they want to be in here where you are. And hey, Kathy,
It's the
but
law of averages.
law of averages exactly. So, if I remember correctly, TJ, we left off with, or we talked about, okay, I'll bite. Is that your recollection of the one that we talked about
I
last?
don't remember.
Well, I'm going to take a chance and say we're going to start with Stranger Things, um,
Yeah, that I know.
which it is to me, it's a play on Stranger Things, only
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
Stranger Things. Um,
it is.
I basically don't know anybody that's associated with this. I'm just looking at this. I'm like, there's nobody that sounds familiar to me as far as actors and actresses or a director or the writer or anything. What about you, TJ?
Yeah. No, not really. Um, let's see. Stranger Things. Axel Carolyn. That sounds like a fake name.
It does.
Joe Lynch. Well, I guess he directs the other one. Um,
Oh, yeah.
she's a woman. What? A woman director? What?
Why would they do something like that? And this is definitely women oriented. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess, would you say it's women empowerment in some ways, TJ, or no?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know.
I mean, at least partially, but towards the end, you know.
Women empowered shouldn't even let them vote.
Better be careful there, TJ. we
I'm
got
sorry.
we got
Was that too
two
woke? Was that?
we got two women in here plus me. That's three women, and we'll all go up against you and Batman, I guess. Um, but anyway, I'm just kidding. But TJ, do you want to go ahead and start talking about Stranger Things?
Yeah. We get the starts with the creep, and he's listening to some music on a record. It screams of horror and terror, which makes perfect sense, and it goes with the theme of the episode. Um, Funny thing, the ashtray does not show up in this episode, as far as I could tell.
Oh, okay. I thought, well, maybe I missed it or something.
No, I mean you figured it would be in the apartment because that's where all the
Exactly.
weird artifacts and stuff. But it opens up at a coffee bookstore with his skeleton crew is on the table. There's another Stephen King book in the little glass case. There's also a reference to that episode with um, Denise Crosby, where it's the
Oh, yeah.
time travel and the guys on death row, and the lawyers are writing a book to become famous. Well, the book that she wrote that she has at the end of the episode is displayed on the book thing. So I guess that means that the world wasn't destroyed by creatures from another
Evidently not.
dimension. I don't know if that's if the episodes are that closely interwoven, but yeah. So he meets this girl in the coffee shop. She's got like a bunch of books in her hand and coffee, and she's like struggling to get out. And he's like, "I don't want to offend you, but do you need some assistance?" And she's
I
like,
thought that was kind of funny.
I got this hot coffee here, and yeah, you can open the damn door for me." No, she didn't say that. So there's the whole, well, I don't want to be overstep myself saying that a woman needs help, but sometimes somebody needs help. You help them anyway. So he's sort of this kind of, I won't say mousy, but he's very like Tully from Ghostbusters type of. Maybe not as crazy.
I'd say he must have been, and I'm not trying to be a traitor to women or anything, but it seemed like he was henpecked by his ex-wife. That's what I got from it.
Well, he talked about he just went through a divorce and she got everything, and he's been trying to decide if he wants to date anytime soon, and so it's sort of about that. So it sounds like she got everything.
Yeah, which happens probably about at least 90% of the time.
So he's a gynecologist, so he's sort of a doctor, which comes into play later. So this is a comedy episode. I was getting a little like the logic in this is really off, but it's off because it's supposed to be kind of a parody and it's supposed to be funny. So, but that doesn't stop me from getting upset. I'm like, why did this happen? It makes no sense. Why is this happening? Anyway,
I could imagine TJ talking to the television as he's watching these.
well, I watch too many reaction videos that everybody seems to talk to themselves. Um, so anyway, he helps her out, and then they start talking on the way back, and she offers the, would you like to come over some wine? And he's like, are you a serial killer? And they do those kind of jokes, and he's like, oh, maybe some other time. Then she goes into her apartment, and he starts hearing this beautiful singing coming from the apartment. He's like, is that you? Oh,
And
can I
his
come
eyes
now? Like,
get
okay.
his eyes start looking like a deadite's eyes or
Yeah.
something like that.
So he goes in there. It's very like a lot of antiques in there. There's like knives that look like they're ready for like a sacrifice and that kind of. So it's pretty obvious what's going on if you're paying attention. Actually, if you notice, one of her books when she's in the bookstore is The Odyssey by it's
Yeah.
the poems by who the hell wrote that? Who wrote those poems? What's his name? Those one name guys.
Homer, was Homer the one that did
Homer.
that?
That was it. Homer. So he was from Greek time, so that's sort of a hinter at the what's going on. So anyway, she spills some wine. She goes to clean up. He's like, oh, I should go clean up my pants too. He goes in the bathroom. He finds his dead body with like the whole side of its face is all missing and eye missing. It's all bloody and naked. It looks like he might have had some below the belt surgery too from this big pool of blood there in the center. So he's noticeably freaked out. First he's like, oh, there's a dead body in there. Like, first of all, I'd be like, if this is someone's house and there's a dead body that looks like it's been sitting there, wouldn't you automatically think, hey, I think the person in this house might have killed this person? But he's sort of like, oh, there's a dead body in there. And he's like, damn, I wish I thought I would be able to have a glass of wine first.
Right.
So we find out that she lured him there for her friend, who's her roommate. We find out she's a siren. Mm-hmm. It was her singing that hypnotized him and brought him into the house, and it knocked him unconscious. He wakes up and they're both dressed up in these, diaphanous gowns. They look like they're ready to be the wives and what's that movie? Manos, the Hands of Fate. Look like one of the wives.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those Greek outfits, the Greek god type outfits. So we find out that her friend is a siren who wants to be human. So they're going to switch voice boxes, which right there, I'm like, that's not possible. And the guy keeps saying, I'm a gynecologist. I'm barely good at that. I can't switch your voice boxes. That's a totally different part of the body.
But they insist.
Yeah, but they're insisting that, nope, he's going to do it regardless because he's a doctor. The one girl has been stalking him for a while. So it's been their plan. So the one girl is going to stop being a siren and she wants to die. And then the other girl is going to take her power and start, killing guys and eating their bodies and souls and whatnot. So he's like, I ain't doing this. Screw you people. And he's like, first of all, for someone who's trapped, he's really mouthy to these girls.
Yeah.
He's a little mousy too. He may think, oh, maybe I can take them, but he's sort of not forcefully trying to do it. He's sort of verbally trying to. So that's a cool thing where he's just not going to punch him in the face and run out. He's like trying to he's not reasoning with them, but he's trying to do his best version of being an alpha male and being like, bitch, get out of my way. I'm getting out of this place, but they're not going for it.
Yeah, he's trying to pull some kind of mind mumbo jumbo on them or something by,
Yeah, but he's making sense. He's like, why am I can't do this. I might. And then so we get a little backstory. The one girl who we met, she's telling him, she's like, "Can I woman-splain to him what's going on?"
Yeah.
Which that was funny too. So she tells him about, oh, she's an ancient blah blah blah. He's like, "You're a mermaid?" She's like, "No, I'm more like a bird type of creature." So she's like an ancient bird siren creature, and her song takes, traps people. But she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to be evil anymore. She really doesn't want to be evil. But the main girl, she wants to be evil. It seems like she's just like, I want to kill people and have fun, and because she's sort of like, I think she looks fine, but it's one of those where she's movie overweight, where you're
Oh,
you don't weigh 2 pounds, so you're not skinny,
exactly.
you're not like Linnea Quigley where you're 98 pounds soaking wet. You're like, she's more like a well, I don't want to be like, oh, she looks like this person, but anyway, and she has a big thing where she's like, yeah, I want to be able to enslave men and get all the hot guys all I want and stuff like that. So she's not like, I just want, because this guy seems like an okay guy, like,
Yeah.
but she's saying things like, he's this weaselly, wimpy guy who probably hasn't been laid in a few years, and she's like, right, and he's sort of like, yeah, kind of, which is like, she's kind of, she's bitchy. She's like,
Yeah.
anyway, not to explain her whole psychological reasoning or whatever, but so yeah, so he does the surgery. She's like, well, how do you know I'm not going to kill you? She's like, well, this made no sense to me. You'll put one of us out with anesthesia and then work on the one girl, and then you'll wake her up, she'll watch you, and then you work on the other girl. I'm like, how do you even figure out how that works? That even makes no sense, but it's supposed to be funny, so like, okay, whatever. So he performs the surgery. It's pretty good, gooey surgery. It looks like an actual voice box. I actually looked it up online to see if they actually like made it look like it would really look, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's what it looks like. A voice box is just sort of this mushy piece of like, I don't know, it's like an organ. I guess it is an organ.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it looks like a inside of a gross flower or something like that. I don't know. Something you'd see out of a Stuart Gordon thing, but it's actually like, I looked it up,
Yeah.
actually what it's supposed to look like. So I'm like,
Mhm.
that's in our bodies? That's gross. So
Well, at least it's covered up with skin and
well,
stuff.
yeah, I mean,
So.
but anyway. So we had the surgery was successful. Here's another thing that happens. If you had that kind of surgery, you wouldn't be able to talk for like
No.
weeks at least. But like, nope, they're perfectly talking normal. The one girl who's she's the siren. She takes off the bandage at one point and she's all healed, which makes sense because she's a mythical creature. But the other girl, like, she's talking like perfectly normal. Like, you should be swollen for at least a certain amount of time. But anyway, stop. I'm gonna stop being logical here with this story. So the other girl's like, okay, you can now. You're the siren, and you can have your first kill now with this dude.
Mm-hmm.
But she looks a little bit like because she wasn't really evil to begin with. She was just kind of like, she has to be evil because she's a siren and that's what they do. So she's sort of like Barnabas Collins, the reluctant vampire type of situation.
Right, exactly.
But the other girl, she's fine with killing people and ripping their throats out. So she grabs the dude. She uses her siren song to Evil Dead Eyes him, and she brings him into the bedroom, rips his shirt open, starts kind of molesting him a little bit. Yeah. And then she takes a big bite out of his neck. And she pulls back, and you see she's got the scary fang monster face. Pretty good effects. Then all of a sudden, the other girl comes in, stabs her in the back with this bad CGI blood stab, which I noticed right away. I was like, up until that point, it was pretty good. And then you do a fake stab with the CGI blood.
Yeah, why they have to do that? Because I like the creature effects. I even liked how the other girl looked.
Oh yeah, earlier on, the girl turns into like the big demon version of herself. She sort of looks a little bit like in Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. Mm-hmm. The gargoyle creatures, except without the big giant face. Yeah. She looks more like herself, but she's very like, she looks sort of like a statue because she's naked. Her chest is naked, but it's like cracked like it's like a statue, not like, you don't see, I don't know, can we say it, nipples? I can't. Do I have to say a fake word for it? I hate people have to say fake words.
No, you can say nipples here. We're talking about an episode of a
I'll
show.
use fake words later for the last one we do because I'll have to use that for that character. Anyway, so she stabs the girl, kills her. The girl falls back and sort of like a porcelain doll. Her body just like breaks up into pieces, and all that's is the skull and some fragments of whatever. And
That's a pretty cool skull, though.
Yeah. So we find out you have to dip the dagger in the blood of the last victim. That's how you can kill a siren. So the other girl's like, I told you I'd let you live. And he goes, you said you might let me live. That's the part I was a little bit scared, worried about. And then they do a sort of like a meet cute thing where they're like, well, we sort of know each other now. You want to go on a date, and this is vegan place, and I don't want to eat people. I don't want to eat souls and bodies anymore. Why don't I become a vegan? Well, let's go out to this vegan place. Okay, I think you're a nice person. So it ends with them sort of going off on a date.
Yeah,
which I think was a funny, cute ending, and it's a pretty light episode. I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it for what it was. The effects were good, except for a couple of the CGI things, but.
Yeah, I agree with TJ on this. This was a fun episode, and I like TJ. I like the effects and stuff. I don't like much CGI, and so that was kind of bad CGI. When you agree with that, TJ?
Yeah, like I said, that splatter when she first gets stabbed, it's like obviously you did not put a real knife into anything, and
they didn't put the money into that.
It's very digital. Yeah, they used it all for the effects of the creature.
I think so. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we had a couple of episodes like the last time that were kind of but this one started out, although it was a lighter episode, it still started out pretty strong, I think. And so I liked it. I enjoyed it for what it was. But if we move on to Meter Reader, which is directed by Joe Lynch, written by John Esposito. Let's see, I was looking at this to see if there was anybody where their name just stood out. And I'm not seeing any, but I really liked this episode. This had to, do you know at what point this particular one came out? Because I thought they had to have done this around the height of the pandemic.
2021.
Okay, that would have been about right then. Because you have a pandemic that's going on, but you also have a possession thing going on as well. It's like they're happening simultaneously, and so you get this first shot where it looks like garbage men come, but they're not coming to pick up trash. They're coming to pick up these severed
Bring
heads.
out your heads, they say.
Bring out your heads.
That's a take on the bring out your dead.
Yep, exactly. But I'll turn it back over to TJ so he can start talking about Meter Reader.
By the way, the woman who plays the mother directed the last episode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's one of those actress, director, writer, triple threat type of people. Because she looked familiar, not because of the writer, but I'm like, she looked familiar. But looking up her credits, yeah, not that she did look familiar though.
She did look familiar to me too.
But, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I had the wrong. Okay, I'm totally wrong. She's not the director. Forget it.
Okay.
I had the wrong. I was looking at the wrong window. I had the wrong window open.
Oh, okay.
Well, then let's see. Let's see her. She was in that. No. TV. She's in Creepshow. I wonder why maybe she just looks like somebody.
That's going to bother TJ all night because he's going to.
Yeah, I wonder what she looks like. Anyway,
why is she familiar?
so it's stuff of it's like there's been an apocalypse kind of situation. We have this guy. He's the meter reader. He's basically like a nomad that goes around. He's sort of like an exorcist.
Yeah.
Where he goes around killing off these possessed people. So they're possessed, but it's possession like an epidemic. It's like a disease more than.
Right.
So it's sort of like, I guess, like 28 days later type of thing where it's, I know there's some movie that's like that where it's people get possessed, but it's sort of like Quarantine.
Oh, right.
Or Wreck, where they're all possessed, but it's actually it's like a disease, but it's a supernatural disease. So basically, so he goes around, sort of putting them to rest, like he's a priest, but they're not really priests.
No, he actually says he's not a priest at one.
So he goes to this one place. So the woman, oh, my daughter's in there. She's possessed, and he's like, okay, I'll take care of it. So it's sort of like The Exorcist. She's tied to the bed, and the mother's outside while everything's happening. But we find out the daughter isn't possessed. The mother's actually the one that's possessed, and she's just tying up her daughter there, sort of as a ruse to get people to come in so she can kill them.
She's like the decoy or something to lure people in.
So he has this mirror, and the mirror is supposed to tell where the evil is within you or something like that. So he turns it to her, and obviously it's not her, and he turns it around, and you see the mother is now exorcist eyes and fangs or whatever, and she attacks him.
She pukes some pea soup.
Like I said, it's very exorcist. There's some pea soup spitting up there, and then he sort of is in hero mode, and the camera pans out, and we just hear the commotion going on of him killing the mother, and then we hear, I guess it's the daughter, and she's sort of like relieved or whatever. And then it switches to this other family, and there's the daughter who's like looking on her laptop, which is also cameras to the outside. So she's sort of watching out what's going on. Meanwhile, the mother and son are acting like there's nothing going on outside. They're like, there's no apocalypse. They're taking pictures of the bread that they just made so he can post it on Instagram, I guess.
It's some weird looking bread too. Didn't you think?
Have you ever made homemade bread? That's what it looks like.
I've made homemade bread, but I usually put it in loaf pans. So if I didn't,
that's when you keep
it. Like, it probably would look like that.
Yeah, I have homemade bread all the time. So yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. So it ain't weird. Anyway.
All right, TJ, it ain't weird.
That is pandemic bread, because remember the whole thing at the beginning of the pandemic, everybody was learning how to make bread, and then they ran out of the ingredients to make bread during the pandemic. Remember that?
Yeah.
Anyway, the things you would run out of, we ran out of toilet paper and yeast, I guess.
Yeah, toilet paper was definitely a problem. I remember me and Steve going to the stores like, there's one thing of toilet paper, and it's like, who's going to grab that last thing of toilet paper?
And disinfectant, like, Lysol spray and wipes and shit. That was
It was insane.
So they're in there acting like sort of nothing's happening, and the daughter's sort of like, hello, McFly, there's stuff going on out there. So they're waiting for the husband to come home. The husband is the exorcist guy who we saw at the beginning of the thing. He's going back to his family. But it's been 3 days, and the daughter said, and they're like, oh, and the son's a little like kind of ticked off. He's like, where's dad? That kind of thing. And the daughter's like, there's people being killed out there, and there's other things to worry about. And he's sort of like,
she's talking about the infection rate and all that stuff.
So we find out that the father had told her, if he's not back in 3 days, you can't let him in because he might be infected. Now, the father's supposedly immune, but we find out that sometimes the immunity wears off, maybe because every 72 hours they check to see if the immunity is still working. I don't know how they do that, but we also find out that they had a younger daughter who the husband and the older daughter had to kill because she was possessed by the plague or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there's already that. They're sort of. I think the family is. You sort of forgive them a little bit because they're sort of in shock. That,
Oh,
they just
yeah.
lost a little girl. The world's kind of falling apart around them, and they're just trying to keep it much normalcy as they can. Normalcy or normalcy, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
I'd say we'll go with either. It works.
Anyway, so yeah, so the dad ends up showing up, and he's like, "Let me in," and the daughter's like, "No, can't let him in." And the son gets all pissed off. He's like, "I hate you," and he runs upstairs. And he's like,
Yeah.
so this is an earlier scene where the mother's making dinner for the. Oh no, not yet. I'm sorry. So yeah, the dad comes. No, you can't let him in. The wife goes, reluctantly says, "Go down to the cellar. We'll take you to the doctor. We'll check your immunity. We'll see what's going on." So he's like, "Let me in," but he eventually, goes to the basement. It's one of those bulkheads you open up and it goes down into the
Right.
basement, which is closed off from the rest of the house. So he stays down there until they figure out what's going on. So the mother's like sort of in denial, and she's like, the daughter's like, "Well, we can't trust him. You're making him fried green tomatoes here," and
Yeah.
and you can't. You gotta get some sense into your mom. And anyway, eventually the son decides he's gonna go and see the dad.
Yeah.
They're like, "No, God!" And then they go running after him. Long story short, the daughter thinks that the father has killed the mother and son, but we find out, like earlier on, it's a ruse. They're actually possessed, and he's not possessed.
Yeah.
That's okay. I told my daughter 3 days, and she's pretty much gonna listen to what I said. So why am I begging to come into the house, making it look like there's something wrong with me? I think that's kind of. But then that's all part of the suspense and everything that we're supposed to believe that. So that kind of makes sense. But then you think back after you're watching, you're like, why didn't he just do the? It made no sense. But anyway.
Yeah, because nothing makes sense. That's what I've come to the conclusion.
Yeah. So yeah, the son and mother are possessed. We got a nice little. I don't know if it was an homage to Evil Dead, but we got the mother levitates, and she's like, the nail salon's great in hell, and she shows her like
it's really I like the effects a lot in this one.
And then the son, who earlier on we have a little flashback where the father goes off to do his thing, and he's got this like spooky devil mask on, like one of those old Halloween type masks. It looks like it was probably from that kind of era. Anyway, so he gets possessed, and you see him crawling on the ceiling, like backwards, sort of like the spider walk on the ceiling. Like it's sort of like Exorcist 3, where the old lady's on the ceiling. It's a little cheesy, but they keep it dark, so it's not too obvious that the CGI is, but it's a creepy image and everything like that. And the dad's pretty much useless. He's dying. And the daughter has to kill her mother and brother. And she's got this cool like sword, and she looks like she tricked it out, like she put stickers on it, and she like she made it her own, kind of thing, which is like, I mean, it's too bad that she had to kill her family, but she had this cool knife anyway. So
she had a cool knife while she was doing it.
Yeah, so she chops off her brother and mother's head, and she goes over to her dad, and they have this little, I love you, I'm proud of you, short little thing. And then, his mode of transportation was the motorcycle. So now the daughter has the motorcycle. She has immunity like he did. So she's going to go out and start killing people. And then we see the whole thing where the trash truck comes again with throws a bunch of heads in there. Obviously, that some of the heads are her
Yeah.
families, and they they get the dump truck sort of has like a fire that has like fire shooters or whatever you call them that incinerate the heads and whatever. And she does a little voiceover. She's going off to take over for her dad and save the world one head at a time. So yeah, that's it.
Basically. Yeah, but I don't know. I really enjoyed this Avatar. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it so much if I had watched it during the pandemic or not, but I
Oh,
enjoy it now. Um, I like the whole thing about him seeming like he's an exorcist, but it had an Evil Dead feel to it as well. It just a bunch of things kind of mixed in there, apocalyptic nightmare type of stuff, and I think it was really done well.
the one
Uh,
thing I thought was kind of cheesy is his. So the meter reader is this like stick.
yeah,
It's like a flashlight, but it's got these like crystal
yeah, it's
things
got
on
like
the
a
top.
green crystal thing on
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't know. That looks a little cheesy. It looks like something you get at the fair.
it.
Yeah, one of those light up things that your little kids, like.
Yeah, the kids are "Whoa."
Yeah, that's what it looked like. So it looked very plastic. Like it looked so fake. But other
They
than that, no.
probably put all the money into the effects, and it was like, we'll have this little flimsy little thing here to be
We
the
do
new.
see the ashtray. It's in the family room, like on one of the end tables.
Dang it, I missed it again.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and try to find all the ashtrays.
um, yeah, and I like this. There's like clues that the mother and son may be possessed. Like there's the point where um, something breaks, like a glass plate or something breaks, and the mother picks it up and she starts squeezing the
Yeah.
glass and bleeding, and she's not reacting to it until she looks at her hand. Like, oh
Mhm.
my! So there's like little clues that you're telling you that it's not, everything's sort of not what it seems to be.
Right.
So I like those little additions. Also, you notice that there's less of the creep, even animated in this.
It's like
As the
they're just
episodes go
getting.
on, you see less and less of him. So I
Yeah,
really,
it's almost like eventually they're going to get rid of him for good, whether animated or
I read in season 4, you just see him in the comic book.
hmm.
So I think
They
I
just
think they were getting,
phased it out until it.
maybe it was costing too much money and they would just kind of cut back on everything. And they figured, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so those are two good little episodes. They were totally
Yeah,
different. Um,
which we're batting 1,000 here because me and TJ like both of those episodes. Let's see how we do about these second. Which Time Out. I like this one too. This one
that's what
was
Jay is taking, a timeout.
that was not. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be at first, but it's almost like a. Did you get a kind of like a Jumanji or Lion Witch in the Wardrobe kind of
Kind of,
feel
yeah.
from this? Only it wasn't really. It wasn't really horrifying, really.
I mean, the ending is.
The ending is, but the rest of the story is like, you mess around with stuff that you shouldn't be messing around with, and you get burned a lot of times, or you may end up dead. You mess with the wrong thing. But
Mm-hmm.
um, so I really, really liked it. I thought it was an interesting type of story, a different type of story. Even though it did have shades of, like I said, Jumanji and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But I'll let TJ go ahead and start talking about Time Out.
Yeah, so we start out with this little flashback to Germany back in the 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 war in the 40s. You remember that war? That was a great war, wasn't it? We thought we were done with those people, but they seem to be back. But anyway, we'll not discuss them. But so there's these soldiers, and they come across this old farmhouse, and I guess back, I don't know if this is how they did it back then, but they sort of go through the place and they like the soldiers decide to take things that they might want, which I'm like, I get, is that what you do? You go to the houses that were abandoned or where you killed all the
Yeah, let's
civilians?
just take stuff
Which is
here.
kind of, yeah, it already starts off with. So we all see this in the comic book panel. So we see a monkey's paw, which is a reference to a bunch of the episodes that came before this. So that's telling you there's something weird about all these things that are in this house, probably. One guy's like, one soldier's like, oh, this is this suit I really want. And there's this other soldier who's staring at this wardrobe. So cut to the present, I guess, present time. We're at a wake, somebody's house. This kid's grandfather just died. The kid sort of upstairs and looking through the grandpa's old stuff.
Right.
He opens a drawer. There's the ashtrays in a drawer, which is kind of weird. Like, would you put the ashtray in a drawer? I mean,
that one was kind of obvious there, but
yeah. So he's looking at all the stuff, and he finds his key. And he opens the wardrobe, and the little cat runs in there, and the cat gets sort of shut in there. The grandmother comes, like, "Oh, I told you not to play near this, and I know it's very interesting." And the kid's like, "Yeah, I saw Grandpa come out of this at one point." And well, she goes, "Well, it's dangerous, and you're not old enough to be near it. But when you're old enough, we'll see about that." And she says something about time, and you're now remember time. You do. I forget exactly what she said. Like, I can't remember what she said. Something like don't take advantage of time or something like that.
yeah, it's something to that
Very
effect.
creepy and cryptic,
Uh-huh.
And she looks like an old, woman from tarot reader type of thing. Like her hair's all white.
Yeah, she did look like that.
Yeah. So she's like, "Oh, where's Kitty?" I let people come up with the creative names, Fishy and Kitty, and we got this Doberman. What are we gonna call him? Doggy. Like, okay, kid.
Exactly.
You're not gonna be creative when you grow up.
Yeah, be creative. Come on, people.
So the kid goes downstairs. She opens up the door, and she's like, "Kitty," and you see there's like this dust on the bottom of the wardrobe, and she picks up the little tag, and it's Kitty's tag. So, something's up here. What is all this dust? We'll find out later in the episode. So he's older. The kid's in college. He's got friends. They're gonna go on dates. He meets this girl. Blah blah blah. He gets the wardrobe is sent to him. I guess the grandmother.
I don't know if the grandmother
is dead, but she sends it to him for some reason. I forget what
because when the guys come to deliver it, they said this is from the estate of, and they give his grandmother's name, and then
maybe she did die. Maybe that's what happened.
I assume she did
because he reads a letter, right?
Yeah, they.
That's why I thought she was alive. It's probably a voiceover, right? Didn't she do a voiceover? Was it the grandmother reading? The voiceover thing. Maybe
I can't remember if there was voiceover, but I do remember there was a letter or a card with a note in there.
Well, anyway, we find out what a thing is used for. Let me try to explain this to make sense. You go inside the thing. Time passes for you inside, but not outside.
Right.
So the kid starts using it to study for classes, and to be successful at work. So he can do weeks of paperwork. In the outside world, it looks like the next day, but inside the wardrobe, weeks can pass. But as he's using it, he starts using it too much, and he physically looks older. Like his hair is starting to get less. Like he's like a blondish, but you can tell it's starting to get grayish. He's growing this beard. He's looking older.
Didn't a couple of his hairs fall out or something?
Yeah, it slowly leads up to that kind of stuff. Where you think the other people who are staying the same age, they notice like him being tired, but they don't physically
Yeah,
notice
I
him.
know,
I'm
that
like,
was kinda odd
yeah,
that they didn't notice more.
because like I said, he's getting older. When you're in the wardrobe, the outside world pauses, but you're still aging and stuff. Um, and the more time you use, the more it's aging you. So he goes from being really successful at work to being less successful because he's getting older. So he's
And there is a point in time where he stops using
yeah.
that, he stops
Well, his
going.
wife tells him, "You're gonna stop doing." She thinks it's just working hard at work, but
Mhm.
she's basically telling him, "You're gonna stop doing what you're doing because it's killing you, and you'll be dead, and you won't be able to see, your family and your
And
children
he
grow up."
does
And
have a doctor's visit, but I can't remember, did the doctor tell him he had had a stroke or if he didn't?
yeah.
Okay.
Which I guess had happened in the wardrobe or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, you had a stroke, and he's like, "What? What are you talking about? I don't," because he can't really. I don't know if he can't really feel what's going on. I mean, he
Mhm.
can tell he's getting older because what happens when you get older? You get tired, and you can't
Yeah.
stay up all night like you used to, and you can't drink all night, and you can't eat the food you want to eat because you're getting old, bitch.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm feeling now. I'm getting old.
well, you got to stop doing 8 streams a week and nap sometime, woman.
Uh, yeah, I know, but I do enjoy doing these
I
streams.
know, but you got to take care of your health first. I mean, you
Am
can't
I
do
look?
streams if you're in bed with the flu.
I hope I'm not looking bad because when I went home for Easter,
Yeah.
Mom kept talking about how tired I was or how tired I looked. She said, "Dang, you look so tired." And she told me she pops in on my streams or watches them later, and she says, "Dana, you look tired again." So I got my mom watching out for me all the time.
Hmm. Well, that's good. That's what moms are for. In good times. Wrong song. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So he stops using the um, the thing for a small period of time, but he's still no. I got to get ahead and stuff. So he decides to go in there one more time. And the grandmother had warned him in the letter, don't go in there without the key because you get locked in there, you're screwed. Guess what happens? He gets locked in there because the key falls out of his pocket or forgets the key or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and he ends up getting trapped in there, and time's obviously speeding up for the audience so we can see what's going on. And the son comes in. Dad, where are you, Dad? And the son's like, I don't know how old, a little kid, whatever. Dad, where are you? And he can see the kid through the sort of like the crack in the
Yeah,
wardrobe, and the kid's not moving because, like I said, time outside of the wardrobe is stopped,
yeah.
and so obviously the kid can't hear him because the kid's not audibly can't hear anything. Um, and you see him getting older and older, like really old. His skin's getting all That looked like it was CGI, but I think it looked pretty good when he gets like really old, really fast.
Yeah,
That looked pretty good. I think they saved the effects from the last couple episodes for this.
right.
But the kid finally finds the key, opens the door just in time to see the father, the oldest he can be before he disintegrates into dust. And
Yeah.
the kid's in shock.
Mhm.
And he's like looking in there like, what's going on, Dad? The kid ends up walking in there with the key outside and the door shuts, and that's the end of the episode. So that's a pretty dark episode. The kid's probably dead.
I would say so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like he died, the kid's dead. Yeah.
And the wife and mother's gonna come in there and it's like,
She's never gonna know what happened.
yeah,
Yeah.
they just disappeared.
Yeah. Crazy. That's a pretty dark ending. So I think
It is dark. I liked the episode, but I do agree with TJ that the ending was almost a little too dark for me.
you think it should have just ended with him dying and not the kid.
Maybe
It didn't show the
let's
kid at least. I mean, we didn't have to
yeah,
see him disintegrate into dust.
let somebody live out there, but
Well, the
I
mother's
guess
alive.
I guess the wife and mother lived, but
Yeah, the mother's fine. And the friend,
oh yeah, his friend, yeah.
his buddy there.
But
Yeah.
yeah, overall a good episode, but was pretty dark by the ending. Which brings us to the things in Oakwood's past. Now, these animated episodes are kind of iffy. I will
I
say.
like this one.
I liked it, but I really, really liked it towards the end when we saw these creatures.
Oh, of course.
But I don't want to give that away too soon. And we had Mark Hamill's voice was used, Danielle Harris. Um, that's the two big ones that I know. And it was written partially by Greg Nicotero, and it was directed by Greg Nicotero and Dave Newberg. So you want to go ahead, TJ, and talk about the things in Oakwood's past?
Yep, like you just said, it's a star-studded voice cast.
Yeah.
Nobody looks like their cartoon versions, but
No.
I do like there's a lot of name references. Like Mark Hamill is the mayor, and Danielle Harris is his daughter. They're both named Wrightson after Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah.
Ron Livingston plays Matt Kamen. That's Jack Kamen, who was the artist of the EC Comics. There's a lot of references to the crate in this. There's Riders Quarry at the end. They mentioned
And
Horlicks University.
Horlicks University.
Julia they were the Carpenter expedition was where all those crates. They had the Julia Carpenter. I had said when we started about this, one of the episodes should have had more about the crate, but I guess they were saving.
And I believe Horlicks University is in Creepshow too. The college students to go out on the raft. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Oh, there's Flags Park. I don't know if you caught that one.
No, I missed that one.
Randall Flagg. I don't think the ashtray is in this, but you think they could have animated the ashtray for crying out loud. And it starts off with a TV station, WGON. Remember that station? There's no helicopters, but I think actually isn't there a helicopter in there? Yeah, there is. Well, or am I thinking about the episode with the virtual reality? Oh, that had the GON helicopter.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But it opens with the creep watching TV, and then you see like the creep as the TV weather guy, and the creep as the anchor, and which I thought that was a cute little beginning to it, because we haven't gotten much of the creep. So we're in this town. What's the name of the town? Oakwood Town. It seems every 200 years, the people in the town vanish, and no one knows why. So this takes place in 2021. 200 years ago was 1821, and we're trying to figure out what's up with this, because it has something to do with the episode, because this is a horror show and nothing's in there by accident. This crate is found, and it supposedly holds secrets to what may have happened 200 years ago. So Marnie, the main character, which I don't know if that's a reference to the Alfred Hitchcock Marnie, but
oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
I don't know what it would have to do with this episode. Maybe it's just because it's Hitchcock, but
right.
I hate those people who do that though. They're like, they take something that's probably not a reference, and they go, "That must be a reference." Oh, his name was Jason. He must be a reference to the Friday the 13th movies. Like, no, it's just a dude named Jason. I mean, not every name has to be a reference to them, but that might be, because that's a pretty not a lot of people use Marnie.
That's an unusual name, yeah.
But let's see. So Marnie's, she's a school teacher. She's been doing research. Meanwhile, we have the guy from the one of the guys from the GON is doing a story on what's going on. He's trying to figure out what he thinks is like a mystery maybe that's going on, and they sort of have a little fling, or they sort of have a do we like each other type of situation.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not overly, like, it's kind of cute a couple of times. Like they do a little back and forth talking to each other. Anyway, so it's basically a mystery of what happened to the people 200 years ago, what this box is, what's up with this box, what we're going to find out about it. Meanwhile, the mayor of the town is sort of, he's like, the usual mayor. He's trying to hide something.
Yeah, exactly. Like every other mayor we've seen in movies.
Yeah. He's just trying to, keep the beaches open or whatever. There's no beaches in it, but you know what I'm saying. So we get a little bit of that going on back and forth. So we find out what's in the crate. Isn't something that should be opened. We find out the crate is a doorway, basically.
Yeah, it's like Pandora's box.
Yeah, it's a doorway to hell, basically. And every 20 years it opens up, blah blah blah. So as in usual in these movies, the girl gets there at the last minute just to explain what's wrong right before everybody starts getting ripped apart. And here's where everything gets good. This gore. It's
very gory.
It's animated, but there's people getting ripped apart, people getting eviscerated, cut in half. There's a point where the guy from the the TV station is trying to get into the van, and his legs get chopped off, and then one of his arms gets chopped off, and it's like,
and the girl's dad, the mayor, one of the creatures just bust right through him.
Yeah, well, he tries to save the town at the end. He's like, I'm going to keep this from opening, and nope, they go right through him, and then everybody there's a girl who's the camera person who was with the dude. She gets the monsters come through the windshield of the van and just rip her apart, and it's just all this. So at the earlier before the mayor gets killed, he's like, get my daughter out of here. So like the cop is driving her out of town. He ends up getting killed. She takes over the car. The car ends up crashing.
Doesn't the cop get cut in half?
He gets cut in half trying to get into the car with the daughter there. Well, like she gets into a car accident, but lucky her, she's over the town border.
Yeah.
So she survives. Everybody else is dead.
Yeah.
And then it ends with a demon has grabbed one of the cameras, brings it down to hell with him. And then we see the devil sitting on his throne. And then it cuts to being inside the TV studio. And you see the image of the devil there. And the woman turns and she goes, well, I guess we'll open those crates and see what was at the bottom of Ryder's quarry. And we know what was at the bottom of Ryder's quarry. Fluffy. So,
yeah.
So, yeah, the mystery was kind of interesting. The ending was the best part.
Oh, the ending was fantastic. I was like, oh, this is fun.
And that cute little end tag I thought was funny. So this was better than the other ones. And it was real animation. It wasn't just, that
fake animation.
Animate a little thing. We'll animate the mouth, but everything else stands still. Yeah, that's really exciting.
So, I mean, we haven't hit on a stinker yet, have we, TJ?
Not yet.
But there's still time. But me personally, I don't think there was a stinker in the bunch, but we'll see what.
I do like the next two. I'm going to spoil it and say, yes, I did like the next two.
Okay. So the next episode is drug traffic. And we got Michael Rooker on this one.
That's right.
And you have, a political slant to this a little bit. You got a politician does he already hold that spot, or is he campaigning for that spot, or is he campaigning to hold on to
I think he's campaigning for, the next term.
Okay. And so he's basically, this politician is using sick people to his advantage because he's wanting to stress the need for. I guess it's to get certain drugs across the border
I guess
that,
they're in Canada, maybe. Are they in Canada? I don't know.
but I guess Michael Rooker's character is what, Border
He's
Patrol
a
or
border patrol. Yeah. So I guess
yeah,
they're in Canada because they're talking about better health care. So I'm assuming they're talking about Canada.
yeah, because
Um,
Canada has the health care for all type
yeah.
of thing,
I heard
and
you gotta wait. You gotta wait a long time, but it's still they still help you out a little bit more than some people.
but this one was directed solely by Greg Nicotero, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to TJ so he can talk about drug traffic.
Yeah. So this politician and his people that work for him and this crew, they stopped this border. Um, Michael Rooker, like you said, is the border guard. He's working on his day off because he's helping these people out or whatever. He doesn't really want to be there. And we sort of start off with, we think the politician is the one that's the good guy and he's the champion for these people who are minorities and for better healthcare and whatever. But later in the story, we find out it's flipped
Yeah,
off with the politician is the crooked guy, which that's not much of a stretch. I mean, really.
no, that is not a stretch at all.
And Michael Rook is the good guy. Like even things he says, if you the guy's making it look like Michael Rook is saying stuff that's bad, but he's actually saying positive things. It's just the way it's coming off because of what we're hearing it makes it seem different. Which I like sort of that aspect, which I think it's pretty good storytelling and whatever. So anyway, so there's this one girl who she looks tired. She looks like talking about looking tired. If you look like her, people would think you need to go to the hospital right now.
Yeah, I don't think I look that bad.
No. So she's really sick. Her mother's giving her these pills. We don't really know what's going on.
All right.
But she looks like really sick, and meanwhile we're having the big political discussion between the two characters, and then that's really the background to what's going on. So this girl has been getting sick. Her mother's been giving her these pills. She throws up the pills. All the pills come all over the floor. So Michael Rooker thinks that they're taking these drugs from wherever and trying to get him past the border. And he's trying to be nice about it, but he's like, no, you can't. This is illegal. She's with her mother, and the mother's like, half the pills are for me, half the pills are for my daughter. And they're like, no. That's not how it works.
Yeah. Well, and he does separate them, but he says, even if we do this, y'all are over the limit.
Yeah. That's another thing, too. We think he's the bad guy, but he's really trying to help. But his helping sort of makes things worse. We find out.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason the mother has been giving the kid these pills is she's some kind of weird ass creature. Where her head detaches from her body and floats around the room, killing people.
It sort of reminded me of like maybe a Japanese horror movie. That's what it reminded me of, like some of those.
It reminds me of this movie.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you ever seen this? Oroku the Goblin?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen that one.
It's about this possessed, disembodied head that floats around and starts attacking people, and it's like a monster, and these like, it's sort of like the thing where these legs come out of it like a spider, so the head crawls around on these kind of spider legs.
Oh yeah,
it's very creepy, and it's also goofy, but it's creepy too. But yeah, it totally reminded me of that type of movie. Definitely, and it gets very like weird, gory during the because her floating head just kills everybody. I mean,
I know she pretty much takes everybody out.
This is earlier on where they first come into the area, and there's this little boy kind of staring at the girl, and she ends up eating him. The first person she eats is this little boy. It's like, oh, the poor
I
kid.
know the little boy's just like staring at her, and the next thing you know, she's eating him.
Yeah, this poor little cute little kid. Meanwhile, the Rooker had taken the mother for questioning, and he handcuffs her to the table, which made no sense. But he's like, this is. I'm just trying to keep you safe. Which I guess that's another thing where we're thinking he's doing something bad, but he's actually doing it something to protect her. But then what he's doing to protect people is really hurting people, because if he had let the mother just give the daughter these pills, she wouldn't her head wouldn't have detached from her body, and she wouldn't have killed all these people. So meanwhile, the politician and him sort of become
allies,
or something like that. I forgot there's a reference. There's the Rooker drinks beer, and it's Old Chief Woodenhead.
I almost forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up, TJ.
Also, the ashtray is on top of the counter that's above the cooler that has the beer in it.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go back and try to find that one.
Yeah, when the young girl is trying to find some food, she goes into the cafeteria and she's like playing around with like the vending machine. She puts money in and she gets nothing out. Like usually those vending machines work.
Right.
And she looks at the beer and she doesn't want the beer, and you see the Creepshow ashtray on top of the thing. So anyway, back to the thing. Yeah, so the mother's been trying to keep the daughter from, I guess, transforming into the creature, and
right.
Obviously it hasn't worked. So they're trying to, Rooker and the politician are trying to live, basically. And it's sort of like I said, they sort of drink beer together and sort of be buddy, and he's like, "You should come work for us." And he's like, "Oh, what's the dental plan like?" and all that stuff. Right? Meanwhile, the mother decides to be a good mother. Like she's been doing this whole episode. She's been trying to protect her child. So she does the ultimate sacrifice where, so the room she was in has the big window that has been broken. She lays on back of it and she starts hitting the side of the window to make this big pane of glass come and chop her head off, so her daughter can take over her body.
Yep.
So she sacrifices her life again for her daughter. And it's funny, her head rolls off and the two heads sort of look at each other lovingly, and the mother smiles while blood's pouring out of her face. And then the head floats over to the mother's body, attaches to the body. While the two of them are sort of being buddy-buddy, she walks off into the distance towards the bus that brought them all there. It opens up, and we get a visit from the puppet of the creep. Actually, they used it one more time.
Yeah,
and he's laughing. And it ends there. And then it cuts to an animated scene where the creep is driving the bus and holding the girl's head out the window by the spine, and they're both smiling. And then we go into the next story.
Yep. So
this is a very weird Japanese horror movie, crazy type of thing, and I liked it. It was
I liked it too. I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." When when she started floating around like that. And, it was creepy and cool and all that. And Michael Rooker, I've seen him play good characters, but he's playing kind of against type now because everybody has seen him play bad roles too. I mean, if you think about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and you've seen
that's the baddest you could be.
Yeah, pretty much. But that brings us to A Dead Girl Named Sue, and I absolutely love this because this is a complete homage to Night of the Living Dead. There's just no other way to describe it.
It's much better than that 30th anniversary version of Night of the Living Dead they put out.
Yes, it is.
They do the same thing where they, we'll talk about it, I guess.
But down to even having scenes from Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
In this, including one of my favorite scenes. Are these things slow moving, Chief? Yeah, they're
They're
dead.
all,
They're all messed up.
they're all
I
messed up.
I just love that line. But I'm going to turn it over to TJ. I'm going to step in here while he starts talking about a dead girl named Sue.
Yep. So, yeah, it opens with the we hear the television, and it's playing the broadcast from Night of the Living Dead that we've heard throughout the the entire movie. The guy sitting down. Well, they're just in this. The dead are now coming back to life. Yes, this is true. So meanwhile, that's not even part of the story. It's about this. So we're at this cop. We're at this police station. And it seems there's this guy in town who is the mayor's son, who basically literally gets away with murder. He's he's a he's a rapist. He's a killer. Um, he, he's a thief. He's probably a drug. He just basically does every bad thing, but he's protected because of his dad. But no, the people in the town are fed up with it. They're gonna try to find him now. They've become vigilantes. Meanwhile, if you're listening to the background, we hear that the dead are coming back to life, but they're not. They don't care about that at this point. They only care about taking care of this guy, and they're gonna try to find him. And the sheriff is basically, you can't do this. We gotta go. He's by the book. We got to do it the right way, and he's very adamant about it. Meanwhile, he's been the mayor has gotten him off from everything, so he's gone to the trial, but he's never been convicted of anything. So there's a little girl who's the girl of the title, who the father is just fed up with him getting away with actually killing people, and killed his daughter. And like I said, grape. I'm not gonna be like Steve, but yeah. So it's basically, if not exactly said, it's basically alluded to that he raped the poor girl and killed her and all that stuff. But like I said, there's no real proof, and everything's gonna go by the book from this cop, and they're all like, "You're
They're
going
like,
by the
screw
book.
the
Where real
book.
justice is getting. There's no justice because you're letting people get away with shit, and So yeah, so the posse's trying to find him. The sheriff ends up finding the dude who's at some farmhouse or something, hiding. And the guy's basically, "I'm going to take you in," and he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to get off. Why? Nothing's going to
Yeah.
happen." But then the sheriff sees this little blue ribbon or something on the ground. And as soon as he sees it and picks it up, he starts doing a total shift. He's not trying to protect this guy anymore. He's pissed off at this guy, and we're trying to figure out why. And he's basically takes him in, gets the posse, and is like, "No, we're going to take care of this guy. We're going to lock him in the prison cell." And we find out the blue tie that he found was the little girl's ribbon, tie in her hair. We see, so this whole episode is in black and white. When we see the hair tie, it's blue. It's in color.
Right.
And I forget if we flash back, but we see the little girl, and she has the two ribbons in her hair. So that's why the cop is all of a sudden, forget about going by the book. This guy has to pay for what he did because he killed this little girl. We know he knows for a fact. So they're like, "How do we get revenge on him?" And like, "We're going to string him up." No, we're not going to string him up. We're going to do something else. So they bring something into the cell, and it starts to move around. And it's opened up. It's the little girl. She's her zombie. Because it's Night of the Living Dead. It's the night of the Living Dead.
Right.
And her body starts crawling out, and you see one of her pigtails has the little blue thing in her hair, and the other one's all loose because it had fallen off when he was doing his dirty deeds to the poor little girl. And the little zombie girl crawls out, takes a big chunk out of the dude, and he's screaming, "No!" Like, nope. The zombie goes in. She takes a CGI bite out of him, which is like, which I get it. It's a real little girl, So instead of having her rip out this guy's leg, I think it made sense why they did it, but it looks really bad. Or
Yeah.
not bad, but it looks like it could have put a bit more money into it to make it look a little bit better.
Looked a little cheesy.
Yeah. But she was a cool looking zombie. She had the the blank eyes that were like, not white, but they were very, dead eyes, and the good zombie makeup on the little girl and everything like that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
And then, it ends with him screaming and stuff, and we go. It ends, like you said, on the TV in the sheriff's office, and we have the part where it's the next day where the head of the posse on there is like, yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up. Yeah, that's how it ends.
But I like this one too. I mean, there wasn't a stinker in the bunch, and I don't think there was for TJ either. But
no, it was the second half of episodes was really good.
Yeah, I thought the first half was kind of uneven, but the second half was good. Now,
by the way, the ashtray was on the sheriff's desk, actually being used as an ashtray, which I thought was.
Oh, there you go.
It finally was used as an ashtray.
But when me and TJ return, we'll actually be starting to cover the final season that's on discs. So I don't know if the 5th season is on Shudder now or not. Do you know, TJ?
I can tell you right now. Just go on Shudder. I want to see this movie Baghead. It looks interesting.
Oh, Baghead. I think I've heard of it.
Yeah. I heard the title, and then I saw it was on Shudder. I was like, oh, I should watch this. No, they're only up to 4.
Okay, so I guess me and TJ might have to do something in the interim until the next season comes out.
Yeah.
So that we can watch it and talk to you guys about it. But I don't know. We could maybe take an opportunity to talk about some sitcoms or something like that if TJ wants to do that.
Yeah, if you want to change it a little bit.
I know it's called horror on TV, but nothing says we can't, change it up a little bit and have something else. But I'll be in talks with TJ about what one we want to do. But I hadn't been reading these comments, but Blissful said, I've always wanted to party like it's 1899.
Do you?
And Blissful also says, this is why we don't need Google. TJ is very observant. TJ is very observant. I will agree with that. He's able to find all the ashtrays in these episodes. I can't even find them all.
This is my Creepshow father.
Ooh, cool. Is that a name?
No, this was one of the. It's not a reaction figure, but it's one of those monster.
That's figures. Cool though. TJ's got a lot of Creepshow stuff over there.
I got a couple of my Toonie Terrors. I got my Jason.
I don't have that one.
Let's see what I got. I got Pinhead.
So I think I got my Ash.
I got Freddy Krueger.
Ooh. I got my Ash figure at Target. Where did you get yours at Target or?
I got some of them at Target, yeah. I got the I pre-ordered the Thanksgiving Toonie Terror that I just got that the other day.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have it close by, TJ?
No, it's in the other room.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I am a little pissed at NECA though. So I back ordered a bunch of the Thanksgiving stuff, and I got a shipment today, and it said I had 3 things in it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got the box. Now there was an invoice, and the invoice only had 2 things on it, and I was like, "Well, why'd they say they shipped me 3 things, but they only sent me 2 things?"
That was nice.
I emailed them.
Mm-hmm.
They credited me for the thing I didn't get, and they said, "Well, we ran out of them." What's the whole idea for a back order? You
Uh,
back order, so you're one of the people that gets the item when it's available. That's what the back order is for. But no, they credited me fine, but like I ordered that. The whole point of a back order is so you're back ordered, so you get the thing. At least they could have said, "Well, we'll tell you when it gets in stock." But no, they just totally like said, "Oh, we're not even going to try to get it to you." Like,
I call BS on
yeah,
that.
that's what. Yeah, that makes no sense. Why even bother doing a pre-order if it's I'm not going to get it because it's sold out? It's sold out. How is it sold out when you make them to order? You douchebag. Anyway,
Well, that's happened to me when I pre-ordered something and I
yeah,
never got it. It's just like it makes you so mad.
it kinda.
What is the purpose? I'm like TJ. What's the purpose of doing that? If they're just going to come back and say, sorry, sorry about your bad luck. We ran
It
out
makes
of
me want to bash in their heads with a marble ashtray.
them. That's so cool.
So rumor has it.
Where'd you get that at?
I got it online.
eBay?
No, there's a company that made them. They're,
Oh, okay.
they're very limited. I don't. You can't see that one.
That's cool though.
It's real marble too.
I was going to say, is it heavy?
It's real marble. Yeah, you could bash someone's head in with this. I mean,
Well, don't make TJ mad. He might utilize that thing.
when I start doing videos, I'm going to hide it in the background and see if people can find it.
There you go. That'd be a good idea. Find the Creepshow ashtray.
I got to get some use out of it when I pay for it. I won't tell you how much to pay for it. If you find it online, you'll see how much it'll cost. But
Well, I'm thinking it might be a lot if TJ don't want to tell us.
it did come in this cool box, though. It's got all the artwork from the comic.
Oh wow. Yeah, you can't throw that away.
No, that's crazy. Not giving this to Jay. He might try to rip it up.
I wouldn't give it to Rambo either. He might.
Wow. But yeah.
Kathy says, "Is books always better than movies? Are there exceptions?" Referring to the horror genre. The horror genre, I found that the books are always better than the movies. But I know you didn't ask about this, but Forrest Gump, it's not a horror movie, but in that case, the movie, to me, was a lot better than the book.
Well, it's hard to translate books to reality because sometimes you write stuff that you just can't possibly do in reality. It's just so you have to cut corners, you have to change things. That's when people go, well, it's not like the book. Well, because you can't do that. It's impossible.
There's a lot of things that you just, even in today's age, you can't recreate that stuff.
Unless it's like a virtual reality thing, but that we're not up to that yet. Mm-hmm. In that case, everything's going to be CGI. In that case, if it's
yeah,
it's not gonna be like we're not ready to be like Star Trek where everything looks like it's real in the holodeck, that kind of thing.
That was Steve was watching Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was looking at, when it would flash up these, I don't know if they were holograms or what, but would flash up. I said, you think Steve will ever have anything like that? And he's like, he kind of gives me a side eye and says, I don't know, Damon. Sometimes I wonder about these things,
we have self-driving cars now, so who knows?
Yeah. I'm sorry that I'm eating this cake here. I'm eating the critters cake.
Okay, green face.
Yeah. I'll have green lips and green tongue and
your teeth are green too. I can see right there.
Sorry about that, game.
That's
But I was feeling a little woozy, like my blood sugar was getting low. So I thought, well, that buttercream frosting ought to
woozy here.
Exactly. Just like Matthew Lillard in Scream.
Yep.
But
yeah.
It's not easy being green. That's right, Blissful.
Yes.
You may see me eating any number of desserts, or you might see me eating potato chips or whatever. I don't mean to gross people out, but sometimes the blood sugar does drop, and I have to go get something. So it was a good excuse to eat cake made
Mm-hmm.
with Snicker bars. Man, this is probably one of the best cakes I ever made. That and the prom night cake that I made.
Mm. Did you eat all the fake glass?
No, there was a lot of damn fake glass, but it's pretty tasty though. Yeah, it is sugar glass.
No one ever eats all the decorations on the cake. The cake by itself is enough, and you're gonna have the
Oh my
every
gosh!
little thing that's on it.
I actually did eat one of the critters though last night. I was like, I'm gonna eat this little guy here.
Crates.
It's,
They're called crates.
I gotta go back and watch those movies again. I love the Critters films. I
I wonder
just
if they
have
can ever remake it. I'm surprised. Well, they
yeah.
haven't remade Gremlins, so maybe they won't remake Critters.
We can
Knock on
hope,
wood.
but you never know what these crazy movie studios are going to decide to do.
Stop remaking stuff. Think of something new.
So I guess me and TJ will, if TJ's okay with this, in about 3 minutes at 10 o'clock Eastern time, we'll
Yep.
get out of here and uh, get some rest and relaxation and all that, and prepare for the next day, and allow you guys and gals to do that too. But in the last few minutes we're on here, if anybody has any questions for me or TJ
You want
or
me to do an Uncle Bill rant? Or
Uncle Bill.
did you watch his rant?
I watched part of it. I hadn't gotten a chance to watch it all.
No, what's interesting? So I'm not saying anything about anybody specific, but and they're Dead Pit fans. We support Dead Pit and all that stuff. I'm a Dead Pit fan. Like, duh. I own 3 of their shirts. How can I not be a fan? Why would I waste my money? But
But you better wear them because CK will get after you.
It's funny when Uncle Bill was making points in his rant, and people were responding, and I'm like, did you not just hear what he said? Like, he's talking about nostalgia, and he's saying sometimes nostalgia is a bad thing, but also sometimes it's not. But everybody who was responding about nostalgia in the chat was saying things like, yeah, I hate nostalgia. I just want to watch my old movies. And I'm like, that's nostalgia, you idiot.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they weren't listening to what he was saying.
Yeah, I hate new movies. I only watch my old movies. Well, that's sort of nostalgia. Exactly what nostalgia is. It's liking older
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
And it's like, and I was like, that's not a bad thing, liking nostalgia, but he's just like, are you listening? And Uncle Bill's like, well, that's not what I said. And I was like, well, I'm hearing you. I don't know what else other people think.
I don't know if people are just not listening but think that they're agreeing with everything Uncle Bill says, because I'm not calling anybody out, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. Some people, not every fan of Dead Pit, but some people think that they got to point blank agree with everything those two guys say. And me, I think I have a good relationship with both of them. And I don't agree with a lot of things they say as far as movies and stuff. I'm not just going to follow blindly, and I don't think they want people to follow everything they say blindly. But that's just me. I don't want to piss anybody off, but saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Somebody will come back and tell me, "What do you know about it?" But
I'm just like, listen to what you were listening. Pay attention to what you're listening to. Don't just listen. That's another thing. You can listen and not pay attention to what you're listening to. That's.
I've done that. I put a movie on in the background and I'm listening, but I'm not really paying attention. It's just background noise.
Yeah.
It's
But
a comfort thing sometimes just to have some movie that I've watched of half a gazillion times to have it going in the background. But thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, as usual, great live, Dana and TJ.
thanks.
It was good to be back doing these. I kind of missed it. I kind of missed talking to TJ and
Thank
um,
you. Ditto.
talking to people in the chat. But it is now 10:01, so thank you, Kathy. Kathy says, very nice stream. Thanks, TJ and Dana.
Thank you, Kathy.
We appreciate it. But we're going to get out of here for now. So I'm going to.
I got to do my taxes.
Holy crap. Have you not done your taxes
No.
yet, TJ? Dang.
I usually do them like in February. This year I didn't.
Mm. Well, I
Anyway,
wasn't too excited to do mine either. I
well, I'm
only
not
got
excited
like
to do it.
$90 back or something. It's like, what is this? But anyway, I want to thank TJ for being on here with me again tonight to discuss these Creepshow episodes. And I want to thank everybody for being in the chat. And so we're going to get out of here, and I'm going to say good night to TJ and
Good
good
night,
night
Dana.
to the chat. And we'll see everybody next time.